Welcome along to the QKC Lockdown Challenge, round number 3, and you join us at Autodrome Maggiore Centre 2 layout. It's a 6-man grid, smaller than normal, but it's all good. Hopefully we can get some more people in the next round. So, we're waiting for lights out here. Of course, QKC Lockdown Challenge is a substitute to the real-life karting meetups. It's not an official competition or anything, but underway. Here we go, Samuel on pole position with the decent star. Omar just behind him in second, trying to get into the slipstream, maybe make a move into the first corner. Omar does lead, it's about 3 abreast. Samuel on the inside line though should have the advantage. He does retake the lead, and as we look on behind, Paige is up to second place. So a great start from 4th on the grid for Paige. She is up to 2nd. Omar in 3rd just behind. We have Davi and Hadi 4th and 5th. Stanley just behind, too, keeping interested. Up ahead, it's Samuel going a bit defensive to the threat of Paige. Omar in the background could get a better run through there. He goes absolutely off the track and into the barrier. That could be his race over. He is about plumb last at the moment. Makes a driver error there, so not ideal for him. Down to 6th. It's just going to be about a recovery for him. We see over here Davi in the slipstream of Hadi, and it's actually Paige ahead too in the slipstream of Samuel. That is going to be a trend you're going to have to notice, because in karting for GT Sport, it's all about the slipstream. If you find yourself out of the slipstream, you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble, because your lap times aren't going to be as fast as those who are in the slipstream. You can gain at least 1 to 1.5 seconds just by being in the slipstream. Here we go, 3-way scrap for the lead. Paige defending off of Hadi, who we're on board with over here. Samuel still leads the way on lap number 2. Paige fends off for now and holds 2nd place, although he's got Davi going down his inside. And he makes the move stick, but gets onto the grass on exit, and he'll be demoted and relegated back to 2nd. I'll tell you what though, Paige is in the lead once again, and she leads Samuel and Hadi. That's your top 3 drivers. As they head on to lap number 3 over here, it seems Hadi had a good run in the slipstream, could go to the inside line over here of Samuel. He does take 2nd place then, and he took the move down the inside. Samuel returns the favour and retakes the lead, would you believe it? 2 positions made in the span of 1 corner. Samuel leads once more then as we go downhill, and of course Maggiore is quite a free-flowing, high-speed circuit, not many turns, a lot of straights of course, but the corners which you are dealt with are quite high speed, apart from this back end where we see Hadi go down the inside. Technical corner, of course, hairpin corner, then almost a 90-degree right-hand turn. We can see in the background Paige going a bit wide. Samuel makes the move then up to 2nd. We see Davi in the back there crashing out. We see Hadi over here, the sparks flying up. He goes a bit too close to the pit wall. So lap number 4 this is now. Samuel gains because Hadi obviously didn't have the best of runs. Into the first corner we go. Samuel is going to strategically plan this race out, I can tell you that much, because it's all about the slipstream. So even if you're leading like Hadi is doing, you're constantly going to have the threat from someone being in your slipstream. But Samuel, I'm sure he'll be strategic just by sitting in the slipstream, buying his time, and when the right opportunity comes and he feels he can break away, I'm sure he'll do that. But for now, Hadi leads Samuel. Paige 3rd, Omar 4th, it's Davi 5th, and Stanley is in 6th place. Rounding the final corner then out of lap number 4, heading on to the 5th lap out of 25. So it's a projected 20 to 25 minute race this is. And here we can see Samuel in the slipstream. Obviously has the opportunity to go down the inside, but it's not worth it, because after the first corner, it's going to be a long downhill descent, and once again you're going to have the pressure of someone being in your slipstream. So it's all about trading places, but at the moment Samuel doesn't want to get involved in that. He just wants to stay right behind and potentially push the race leader along with him. Goes purple to the 2nd sector there, does Samuel. Up the hill now through the high-speed left-hand turn, approaching the technical part of Maggiore, of course. Hadi goes a bit deep there, opens the door for Samuel to execute a potential switchback line, but it didn't work out too well, although Hadi got a bit sluggish out the final corner, and he will have the run over here. We have Omar over here in 4th place, trying to fend off Davi, who's in 5th. Back to the battle for the lead, and battle for 2nd place. Paige looking down the inside of Samuel. So I can tell you this much, it was a top 3 battle for the win, and this is far from over yet. There's about 20 laps or 19 laps to go, and we're just getting started over here. Hadi still leads the way. This is his first QKC Lockdown challenge. He found out through, obviously, the Instagram post, and we advertise these races through Instagram and Facebook. The aim of these races, as we mentioned, is to keep karting under the current situation. So it's not a massive competition where there's huge prizes to be won. It's just a group of friends getting together to have some fun races, and we might as well just share the full race replay with the commentary. As you can see now, Samuel down the inside does take back the lead. Can Hadi switch back on him? He's surely switched back now. As we look behind, you can see him now on the left-hand side. Good switch back line there, but Samuel does have the better momentum on the outside line, so not enough, despite doing the switch back line, for Hadi to make the move yet. Now he's in the slipstream. Could look to the inside line through approaching the left-hand turn. It's a bit risky to do that, of course. High-speed corner. You don't want to be crashing out or anything there. And Hadi settles for second for the time being, so Samuel back into the race lead for about the third time so far. A bit of contact there, and it didn't affect the drivers too much. Samuel is still leading the way. Lap number 8 it's going to be now, so nearly a third of the way through this race. Page in third, Omar I mentioned in fourth, Darby fifth, and Stanley is sixth. As we exit the first corner now, I'm sure Paige is looking to get into the slipstream, potentially be promoted one position, and she can definitely do that because as we're on board, you can see the gap is only a mere half second. We have Omar over here who's quite the way back. So is Darby as well. So these drivers, 4th, 5th and 6th places, Stanley, have massive gaps to each other, meaning there's no slipstream advantage that they can gain, and in effect they're going to be losing time to the top 3 drivers or top 3 kart racers you can see over here, who are all in the slipstream of each other. And if you compare their lap times, 50.1, 50 flat, a 49.7 personal best then for Hadi. He had the slipstream advantage and obviously a good choice of race lines through the previous lap. Gains back to Samuel, your race leader. So lap number 9, can he make any kind of move for the race lead? Paige is also keeping interested just behind, only about a second or 7/10 of a second. Downhill we go through the sweeping left right purple for Hadi there, using the slipstream effect to the best of his advantage, looking to make a move potentially over here. Had a look there, gonna commit to the line as Samuel goes a bit wide. Hadi takes the lead. Samuel gonna try and switch back once again. Really nice switchback line Samuel got there in the slipstream. Can he now retake the lead? But Hadi leads though, of course. Is he going to go defensive into the first corner? He tries to break away from Samuel by breaking the slipstream. And at the moment, Samuel choosing and opting to stay behind, and Paige going down the inside, and Paige takes second position. Samuel can't switch back because Paige shut the door, and Paige has been promoted by one position. We said that she was keeping interested just behind in third in the slipstream, and the opportunity has come. She's up to second place, so really good position for Paige. Hadi then will try and use this to his advantage to try and get ahead, but the slipstream effect won't allow that to, of course. Hadi leads, Paige second. We have Samuel third, Omar, Davy and Darby and Stanley 4th, 5th and 6th. So that's your running order. Here we see Samuel, Paige and Hadi on to lap number 11. So approaching half distance soon now. And you can see how Samuel's just opting to stay behind. He doesn't want to go for a move because he knows he'll have the driver who he just overtook on his rear bumper, because the slipstream effect at Maggiore is just that influential. But here we go then. Samuel down the hill in third, looking to take back second position, which he lost. You can see the interesting phrase behind Paige's race suit on the back says, "Do not hit my cart." Of course, we don't want any contact. We want to have clean racing, and that's well said by Paige. Here we go, though. She goes a bit wide there. Samuel executing these switchback lines, but Paige didn't get hindered by that, neither did Hadi, because they went a tad wide through the final section here. Samuel, once again in the slipstream, you can see ahead. Hadi dramatically trying to break out of the slipstream, just going all the way to the left-hand side of the track. But that may have cost him a better time. You can see Paige right back up to him. Now the gap is only about 0.2 of a second. Samuel, though, seems to be the closest man to Page, and he is potentially going to size up a move. Down the hill goes Purple by 4/1000ths of a second. And there we go, nearly 3 abreast through the sweeping left-hand turn of turn number 4 into turn 5 of this short course, or short layout it is. Samuel still in third, looking to make up one position. And this is probably an ideal time. Well, not yet, as there's still a battle going on over here. Just to give you more info on what to expect from the QKC Lockdown Challenge. I'll just wait and see. Is Samuel going to make a move over here? He doesn't. So for now, your top 3, do neutralize in terms of positions. Hardy first, Page second, Samuel third. Although they're side by side, Samuel gets a great run on the outside line. He takes back second position off of Page and uses the slipstream from Hardy's cart to, in fact, gain up right to him. Can he potentially go around the outside here? He's on the outside line. Opens the door a bit for Page to retake second, side by side into turn number 5. Page down the inside. Samuel down to third again. So Page lost second place on the opening part of lap number 13 and took it back at the back end of lap number 13, but now has Samuel right behind her. Look at this, it's a 3-way scrap up the hill, and who is going to take the lead? Page takes the lead, Samuel behind, Hardy from first down to third, and real drama over here. Hardy forcing it to the inside line back again, takes first from third position. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? That was a really good move there from Hardy. As they approach Stanley now, the lap car, I think it should ghost him though, so there won't be any implications in terms of backmarkers taking out race leaders, but it's all good though, as they negotiate Stanley safely and can continue their battle. But at the moment, it's still Hardy first, Page second, Samuel third. Samuel, though, got a really nice exit out the corner. Nearly going to go side by side here. Tucks into the slipstream for now of Page. Hardy, you can see, dramatically trying to cancel out the slipstream, which the 2 behind could potentially get off of him. At the moment, though, he is still leading the race. Page goes deep there. Samuel could come back to the inside part of the track. Page has it under control for now. Lap number 15, so only 10 laps to go. This race has absolutely flown by, and there's not long to go though. At the moment, Hardy leads. All good for Hardy. Page second, and we have Samuel third. Omar, Davi and Stanley are still 4th, 5th and 6th. And that's probably how those positions are going to finish for 4th, 5th and 6th, because barring any incidents, there's no slipstream effect for them to gain. As we see over here, side by side, the 2 drivers. Samuel just opting to lift off the gas a bit just to get back into the slipstream, because he knows it's all about the long game over here. Omar, we said, here in 4th, running consistent timings, but he can't really match with those ahead of him. Same for Davi. He's just doing his own race at the moment, holding 5th. Davi also, this is first lockdown challenge. Stanley, this is his 2nd time competing, in 6th. He had a crash early on, that's why he couldn't be involved in a battle, but that's just unfortunate in terms of what happened with him. But at the end of the day, that is racing. We saw with Umar as well, he crashed out early on, and small mistakes will be punished in the long run, and that's what you're seeing here. Your top 3 leaders, where Samuel nearly making a move for second again. The top 3 leaders have not made a mistake, and that's why they're running in the top 3 positions. Hardy leads the way then. Here we see Samuel once again in the slipstream of Page, and he's just going to try and push her along. As we mentioned, that's Samuel's technique, because there's no point being aggressive early on, because you're just going to have the drivers on your back due to the slipstream effect. So it's best to leave it late. The later the greater, as they say. And the later the greater meaning, you know, you're a quick driver, execute the move right at the back end of the race and then pull away so no one has a chance. They have very limited time. Here we go. Samuel makes the move for second, covering off the inside line here. Can Page go around the outside? She tries to switch back, and she does go down the inside, side by side. Into turn number 5, she goes a bit deep there, opening the door for Samuel to retake second. So Samuel now has made second place stick, and he seems closer than ever to Hadi Ahmed. You can see over here in the slipstream once again, coming across the line on lap number 19. So real drama at the back end of the race. We see Samuel was leading early on. He was dropped down to third place, but now has a chance, as he's in second, to potentially win and take the race lead again. Hardy, though, will be difficult to displace for first place. This is his first QKC Lockdown challenge, and he'd love to win it in style. What a result that would be. But he has Samuel, a very quick driver from the UK, of course. He's representing the UK flag and is doing very well for himself. Last time out, Samuel, his first QKC Lockdown challenge, finished second, only a tenth away from the race win. That was obviously won by Arnaud from Belgium. So Samuel determined to potentially win, but Hardy is also as determined. It'll come down to who is more decisive. At the moment, Hardy leads by about 1 second. Page there crashes into Samuel. My goodness me, was there a bit of a brake failure or something in Page? We'll have to wait and see. Let's just review that. That's a big turning point there. And on board with Page over here, just into the first corner, just gets a bit hot on the brakes and steamrolls into the back of Samuel's cart. That's not the best news for anybody there, but bit hot on the brakes there, a bit late on the brakes, and Page didn't anticipate Samuel to be on the outside part of the track there. So Page up to second though. Not sure if she got a penalty for that. We'll have to wait and see, of course. But Samuel is determined, nearly losing control of the cart there. He wants to get back. Here we see a bit of smoke being kicked up there. Potential lock up by Page. On to end of lap number 19, heading on to lap number 20. Samuel pulls out to the inside part of the track, retakes second position after he lost it earlier on this part of the track last time out. Second place for Samuel once more. Page just behind, negotiating turn one smoothly now. Hardy, though, is still leading. Can he hold on? 5 laps to go. Samuel is on a charge, though. Samuel is in the slipstream. Could he potentially take the win? This is going to be an intriguing final 5 laps. We have Omar over here in 4th place. Darby, you mentioned too, is in 5th and is running his own race too. So is Stanley over here in the red liveried go-kart, of course. Back to the battle for the lead, and it's really come down now. The gap, Hardy may have just lost the lead to Samuel, who got a phenomenal run out the final corner. Hardy had a bit of a tank slapper, and purple to that lap goes Samuel by 7/10 of a second, takes the lead on lap number 21. And could this potentially be his race to win? He goes a bit wide there, but Hardy follows in the slipstream. Could we see a ding-dong battle? Well, we've seen a ding-dong battle already, but towards the back end, is there going to be a switch once again for the lead? They're so close. They're nearly side-by-side, bumper to bumper over here. Wheel to wheel momentarily there as well. Samuel holds first position from Hardy. Hardy trying to respond into turn number 5 we go, or rather the penultimate corner. And now through the final corner, Samuel has built up already a half a second advantage. It has been a real recovery for Samuel. He led early on, got demoted to 3rd, made his way up to 2nd, and now leads on lap number 22. This is going to be a battle to the finish. Samuel, meanwhile, is trying to extend that advantage to Hardy, which he has of about 1 second. Hardy has the slipstream, of course. It'll be interesting to see if he can respond, potentially take back the lead. Time is limited now, though, and there's only going to be a handful of laps to go, only about 3 laps. Heading on to lap number 23 now. Samuel, though, still leads. Hardy goes wide there. Could that give Samuel the bit of the breath of fresh air which he needs to pull ahead? And indeed it is. Samuel pulls ahead on lap number 23 then by at least 1.5 seconds over Hardy. This is beginning to shape up and look like the race victory which Samuel's been probing at. We mentioned that early on. He was conservative because that was the most appropriate thing to do. Of course, you don't want to be aggressive early on, risk a crash, and then we saw what happened with Omar, where he's now broken out the slipstream and is down in 4th, can't catch up to those ahead of him. But Samuel played it conservative, didn't mind being in 2nd or 3rd, and knew he had the pace advantage, and at the moment on lap number 23 is leading the way. Only 2 laps to go until the finish. Omar 4th, Darby in 5th, and it is Stanley in 6th, and it seems the race has neutralized at this point then. Samuel is your leader, Hadi second, and Page is third. That's your top three positions. Barring any mistakes, I think it will stay that way. And it's probably a good time to fill you in with the info of the QKC Lockdown Challenge. So we plan to host these every couple of weeks. And obviously none of the karting circuits here in Qatar are open until at least a few more months. So this is the only way to keep the community involved in regular races, of course, replicating what we do in real life. And this is by no means an official competition. We're just a group of friends racing online and documenting and sharing our experiences in the best way possible, of course. This is the most interactive way to do it. Back to your race then. Lap number 24 is coming to an end. Samuel is onto the final lap. He went purple on lap number 20. It was a 49.7. That is a brilliant, a 48.7. That was an absolutely incredible lap time by Samuel. But he's only got a few more corners to go now. It's obviously the final lap. Samuel has built up at least a 2 to 3 second advantage on Hadi. Hadi must be delighted with the podium, but would obviously ideally like the win, as he found himself in the leading this race for at least 5 to 10 laps. But around the penultimate corner, in his second QKC Lockdown Challenge, Samuel has driven faultlessly and displayed his sim racing skills, coming across the line to win for Great Britain. It is Samuel who wins. It's going to be Hadi in his first QKZ Lockdown who finishes in second. Paige, her first ever podium finish. Congratulations. Goes third place to Paige. Omar then, damage limitation, drive to the flag, and that's exactly been it. Fourth place will go to Omar, wrapping out the red livery, of course, across the line and finishes in fourth. We're going to see Darby. This is his first QKC Lockdown Challenge. Did well to stay consistent and drive his own race, coming across the line for a fifth place finish it will be in the end then. And here we go. Darby will see the checkered flag. One more driver, one more kart racer to go, and that is Stanley, wrapping out the white and red livery with the Shell logo at the back. Number 29 comes across the line in 6th position. And these are your final results then, ladies and gentlemen. What an enthralling race that was. Very, very entertaining, of course. Congrats to the top 3 racers and Samuel, of course, who takes the win this time round. We look forward to the next QKC Lockdown Challenge. We mentioned we're hosting these every 2 weeks, and that's just to space things out, as well as keeping everyone involved in the community, of course, because if we stay idle in this situation where the karting tracks are closed for many months, then when the karting tracks eventually do reopen, we're going to have to do a mission restart where we've essentially lost the whole community and have to bring them back. So this GT Sport game has created a medium for us where we can race virtually. And to be fair, it's actually very, very decent. I mean, the races that we've been documenting have been really exciting and something for everyone to practice on once the race announcement and track announcement has been done. So it's all about getting through this for now. This is the way to go racing. And until the karting tracks reopen, we'll be hosting the QKC Lockdown Challenge. Stay tuned for the next announcement then. You can also participate. You simply need to follow the instructions on the post, which is when it is announced a week before the event starts. You'll have to message us a confirmation message. We'll send you out the rules and regulations. Once you take a read through that, you'll be confirmed to race, of course. But until the next QKC Lockdown Challenge then, guys, we will see you next time. It's been thoroughly enjoyable once more for round number 3. Round number 4 next, and it'll be very interesting to see which circuit we're going to be driving out. But regardless of which circuit it is, we are going to be in for a treat. Until then, guys, stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.